Hey, what up, in this video right here, I'm going to be discussing Umaga's release from WWE. I'm going to be talking about the rumors about Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy's future with WWE, a little update on the cause of death of Misawa's passing, and a few other things. And I'm going to end this video with a little spoiler, so to note when I say at the end of the video, here I'm about to say it, spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear it, cut the video off. Okay, and I'm going to be talking about Monday Night Raw as well, the card coming up for Monday Night Raw, 3-hour Raw tonight, as you know. First off, let me get on to Umaga's release from WWE. Now, there were conflicting reports at the beginning of whether Umaga quit WWE, because that's what he claimed he did, or if he was released from WWE. Now, right now, obviously, the reports have came back that what Umaga was saying, or Edward Fatus said, which is his real name, claimed that he quit WWE, but obviously that turned out to be false. He did fail his second wellness policy test. This was his second one he failed. The first one he failed was back after the Benoit tragedy, about 2 to 3 months after the Benoit tragedy, maybe about a little over 3 months after the Benoit tragedy, where about 10 to 12 wrestlers were suspended for some certain wellness policy violation. That was his first wellness policy violation. This was his second one. So I guess when wrestlers felt, they got 3 strikes and they're done with the company. But I guess on your second strike, WWE offers you, I guess when you're out on your suspension, your 60-day suspension, you to institute yourself into rehab to get healthier. So obviously Umaga turned that down. He kind of did, I would say, the Booker T or Jeff Hardy defense, where he fails, second wellness policy test and then is done with the company. Jeff Hardy didn't do this, but this is more or less Booker T did this. Booker T tried to do the same thing Umaga did. Claimed he quit WWE and wasn't released and didn't fail a wellness policy test. So Umaga's doing the same thing. Now I expect Umaga to go to the TNA pretty soon after his 90-day non-compete clause is up, or I don't know if it's 90-day or it's 60 days, because I know if he would have stayed with the company, it would have been 60 days. He would have had to wait for to come back as far as suspension goes. But obviously, since he's been released, it's probably 90 days. So obviously, sometime in September, expect Mr. Kennedy Umaga to come to TNA, even though there have been some reports about Mr. Kennedy saying that Mr. Kennedy might want to take some time off from wrestling, and maybe he wants, one of his hobbies is cooking, so he's trying to become a cook. So that's one rumor I've heard about that. So Kennedy might take some time off, might not come to TNA immediately, but I definitely think TNA is going to try their best to get him, especially since he's a name talent and people do like him and he is over with the crowd. And now back to Umaga. Like I said, I do expect Umaga to go to TNA after the 90-day non-compete clause goes. And I think it would be a good thing for him to go to TNA. I think it might be a good fit for him. I think he could possibly do something with the Nation of Violence with Samoa Joe. At least that's the thing I would guess they would do as far as booking. It would be the most sensible thing and make the most sense, obviously. Put him with Samoa Joe, have him do something with the Nation of Violence, or get the other member of 3 Minute Warning and reform that tag team in WWE, because I think they were a good tag team in WWE. Just WWE kind of, cut the strings a little too quick, and they probably could have went a little further than what they actually did with that tag team. The TNA might pick that tag team up and have Umaga do that, or have just Umaga be like the typical Samoan gimmick like he was in WWE, and kind of have him do that in TNA as well, and maybe do something with Samoa Joe, since we know Samoa Joe's going to obviously have Taz in his corner or something, whatnot, with Taz doing something with Samoa Joe very soon. Now, the next thing, obviously, the 2 rumors. Now, these 2 things I'm going to stress, they are rumors, but there are 2 rumors that I think are at least notable to talking about. And the first one is Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, now there's conflicting reports. There's some reports saying that Jeff Hardy might have signed a short extension to his contract, maybe a 1 or 2 month extension to his contract, or have not even done that at all and is not even thinking about doing it, or he's thinking about signing a new extension with WWE, but he's waiting almost till, I guess, the end of his contract so he can get a better deal, maybe get a little more money out of the new extension when he does sign it, if he does do that. So definitely that's going to be interesting what's going to happen there with Jeff Hardy. Now, a lot of you know I'm not the hugest Jeff Hardy fan, but I'll admit Jeff Hardy is an entertaining wrestler, and I understand why people like him. He's an entertaining wrestler. He does a lot of spots in the ring, and, he's an enjoyable wrestler. I do enjoy his matches, but as far as, what he does outside of wrestling, especially some of the stuff, he's kind of lost his passion for wrestling several times. That right there has kind of made me lose a little respect for him, but still, for wrestler-wise, I gotta say he is very good as far as in the ring. Now, the other one, rumor is the whole Rey Mysterio rumor that Rey Mysterio might have gave his leave to WWE and wants to leave WWE, or maybe just take some time off. So maybe we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here. I see what Rey Mysterio is going to do. He's probably going to take some time off. I highly doubt he's going to be, hanging his boots up, retiring from wrestling, and quitting WWE. Even if he quit WWE, I could highly doubt him leaving WWE and going to TNA, even though that would be a less rigorous on his body and a whole lot, less house shows that he would have to do, and a whole lot less shows he would have to do and be on the road. So that's the plus with TNA, but I don't think Rey Mysterio would do that, because Rey Mysterio probably gets paid a lot with WWE, especially with his marketing, his merchandise, his mask, and all that with WWE. That obviously, makes him a lot of money, and I don't think he would be able to get that same stream of money from TNA. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio. If Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio, if they're both gone from WWE, that's going to really hurt the SmackDown brand, because them two are two of the top guys on SmackDown. Not only the two top guys on SmackDown, I would say they're probably definitely the two most marketable guys on SmackDown, other than probably Edge. I think Edge, even though Edge is a heel, Edge is marketable no matter what you want to say. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the Misawa Misawa, his passing, and a little update on that. Now, obviously, the first reports were that he suffered a heart attack, and that's what his cause of death was. Now, the cause of death has kind of changed. Now, obviously, the whole thing with the back suplex, that's not changing. That's pretty much the cause of death, and that's what, made him die, obviously, was the back suplex he took, and just didn't, kind of a freak accident. It just didn't land right, and, got injured that way. And apparently, he suffered a spinal cord injury from the back suplex, and that was the cause of death. And obviously, in the ring, you heard the reports that he turned purple. Now, there's a little clip that on YouTube right now, and it's got, almost 500,000 views, but some of you might haven't seen it if you haven't, visited Gerwick.net or NoDQ.com within the last day or so. You might have not seen this video. And this is a video of kind of like a Japanese news report about the passing of Misawa Misawa, kind of a little tribute in there. I guess they aired with it. And it shows footage of the EMTs and the CPR workers coming out there and trying to revive Misawa Misawa. And you got just the way the crowd looks. I mean, there's people crying in the crowd and just stunned and in awe. So I would say, it's kind of a sad video, but if you do want to see it, the link will be in the description if you haven't seen it quite yet. And obviously, if you haven't visited those two wrestling news sites, or maybe a couple other wrestling news sites, you might not have ran across the video, especially since the video is in Japanese titles and descriptions. Everything is in Japanese. So if you haven't seen the video, I would, recommend check it out. Now, it is kind of a sad video, so watch the video on your own discretion if you want to or not. Now, the other thing I want to discuss, obviously, Monday Night Raw tonight is going to be a 3-hour Monday Night Raw. Now, obviously, this Monday Night Raw, if this is just all Raw, now 3-hour Raw, just with all the wrestlers from Raw, will probably be, horrendous and tedious to watch. Now, since you got the SmackDown brand, the ECW brand, and Raw as well, especially three title matches on a live television show, that's pretty good to see. You got the four-way, obviously, the four-way main event, and this is for the vacated World Heavyweight title since Batista is injured, and they decided to, instead of last week, obviously, they ended Raw, making it look like, Randy Orton was going to just get the title from the 10 count, and Triple H return. So obviously we're going to see the Triple H and Randy Orton feud continue. And the four ways, Randy Orton, Triple H, Big Show, and John Cena. The Big Show element in this is probably going to be a thing that is going to hurt this match, because John Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton, they all work good with each other, and they had a solid match at WrestleMania 24 against each other in a three-way match that was very good, and John Cena and Randy Orton worked good together. Triple H and Orton, they are hit and miss, and especially this year, they have not worked really good in the ring at all with each other. I think no one wants to see that feud continue. I think most people want to see the Big Show and John Cena feud to end the most, and then it's probably Triple H and Orton, but I think more people might say Triple H and Orton just because that's the title picture. A lot of people just want to see something different with the title picture, especially like something like a Randy Orton versus John Cena feud for the title. That would be very enjoyable to watch, especially since we really haven't seen them two in a singles match in a long time. To really, unless you count the No Way Out match right before WrestleMania 24 where it ended in disqualification. That's what led to the triple threat match involving Triple H at WrestleMania 24. And the really only singles match they had that was for the world title, unless you count the No Way Out match, was at SummerSlam 2007. So they really haven't took on each other that much, and I think a singles program with them for about 4 to 5 months would be very good. It'd be a whole lot better than this whole Triple H and Randy Orton feud that's obviously going to continue. I know I'm wishing Randy Orton or John Cena wins the title and we see them go off in a program against each other, but I know it's not going to happen because Big Show and Cena still continue, and even though I don't want it to continue, and Triple H and Orton is going to continue as well. So Triple H and Randy Orton is going to win, and if I have to guess, Triple H is probably going to win the title tonight on Monday Night Raw. Or if he doesn't, they'll build it up where Randy Orton wins the title tonight and Triple H defeats Randy Orton in the maybe rumored Hell in a Cell match that might happen at the SummerSlam 2009 pay-per-view. And the other matches, well, the one match I think would be very good and that's for the World Heavyweight title on SmackDown, the triple threat match with Edge versus Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. This is going to be probably very good. Hopefully it gets a good amount of time. If you have this match, get about 20 minutes and maybe just one commercial break in between it, and have a commercial break, between one of the entrances or whatnot, and do it that way. This could be very good, and it will come off pretty good on TV. I see CM Punk retaining in this triple threat match, even though I'm kind of almost a little worried that CM Punk might lose the title here, but I don't think he will. I think WWE is going to have him, have a good, lengthy title reign, especially since they're starting to slowly, Edge to turn him heel at some point down the line, because they're doing it in a slow process, which isn't a bad thing. I think it's an okay thing to kind of have it, slowly build up and then, have it, I think he's going to, by SummerSlam, I'd say by then, will probably be the time where he's a, full-fledged heel right there. And I see CM Punk retaining tonight. And the other match is Tommy Dreamer versus Christian. Now, shocker at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, I never thought I would have said the Jack Swagger Christian and the Tommy Dreamer match was good, and Tommy Dreamer did pretty good in that match. Hopefully see something good in this match. I do see Tommy Dreamer losing the ECW title here to Christian. If Christian doesn't win the title, what will happen here is Jack Swagger will come out here and get involved, and you'll see another triple threat at the Bash pay-per-view, and then you'll have Jack Swagger or Christian win the title. So it's obviously going to go that way. Then obviously Vince McMahon is going to name the new general manager of Raw. The most likely scenario with this, especially since Raw tonight is in North Carolina, the most likely scenario is Ric Flair as the new general manager for Monday Night Raw. And it does seem like something they would do. The only other things, maybe Vince McMahon will do some, arrogant thing where he would name himself as general manager of Monday Night Raw and have him be general manager again. Or, Stephanie or Shane McMahon, you can't ever question them not being general manager, especially after last Monday Night Raw. Obviously, the whole thing with the new general manager is because Vickie Guerrero quit WWE in a storyline. Not only quit WWE in a storyline, but actually quit WWE in general in real life, because she actually is gone from WWE. She just wants to take some time off from wrestling, be gone from wrestling right now, and, be around her kids. And, I got to respect her for that. And, the one thing about Vickie Guerrero, I got to say, I didn't really like her too much as, general manager or whatnot, but the one thing you got to give her, even if you dislike her, was the heel heat she could generate. Now, it might have been cheap heat, but I'm one of those people that, like some wrestlers have said, cheap heat or no heat, it's better to get heat in some cases, no matter what. Even if it's cheap heat, it doesn't really matter. And she was able to generate a lot of heel heat, probably the one person that's actually not a professional wrestler and really has no business with professional wrestling. Nobody associated with wrestling, I would say, in the last 5 years has been able to generate as much heel heat as she has for not being a wrestling performer. Obviously, Edge, I would say, is one of the top heels of the last 5 years, especially the millennium, as far as when he first won the title back in 2006 and his whole thing with Matt Hardy back in 2005. So Raw might be enjoyable tonight. You got all three brands on there, so that's going to obviously help out. Now, I've heard some rumors that they might be doing not the 3-hour Raw tonight, but the following Monday Night Raw right before the Bash pay-per-view. I've heard some rumors about that Raw. Maybe USA Network or WWE is trying to push that show to be a non-commercial Raw, where there will not be no commercials at all, no interruptions. And that might be interesting. It'd be kind of cool to see how that comes off, but they would have to book Raw in a good way, and the way Raw has been booked probably ever since the draft and a little after WrestleMania hasn't been really good at all. So I don't know how that's going to work with a 2-hour Raw. Hopefully they do something, because the mid-carders, like what Kofi Kingston's doing, what Kofi Kingston's doing, what MVP's doing, and what William Regal's doing in the mid-cards. I like that, and Matt Hardy's doing okay stuff in the mid-card, even though I think the whole cast gimmick needs to end now. Okay, now at this part of this video, like I said, this is going to be spoiler alert, so if you don't want to hear the spoiler, cut this video off right now. And the spoiler alert deals with what happened at Ring of Honor show this past Saturday. Austin Aries is crowned the new Ring of Honor champion, the first person in Ring of Honor to hold the Ring of Honor championship 2 times, so the first 2-time Ring of Honor champion. He won the title. Now, firstly, it was going to be Jerry Lynn versus Austin Aries for the ROH World title at the Hammerstein show. Then it turned into a triple threat with Tyler Black getting involved, trying to use his title shot. Then Jerry Lynn it was kind of like an elimination style match, so Jerry Lynn got pinned first. Then it obviously was guaranteed a new Ring of Honor champion. So it was Tyler Black and Austin Aries. They went at it for a little bit. Then Austin Aries finally won with the Brainbuster to Tyler Black. So Austin Aries is the new Ring of Honor champion, even though I probably would have liked in this situation Tyler Black to finally win the Ring of Honor championship. I don't really have no problems with Austin Aries being champion. Like I say, a lot of people, gave Jerry Lynn shit for being champion for these 2 months, but I think Jerry Lynn did a solid job as world champion. It was kind of a transitional run because he only held it for a little over 2 months. Didn't hold it that long, but it was, solid title run. He did some good stuff within it for someone that only held the title for 2 months, and I don't think people are going to look back at it being like a joke title reign, kind of like, some of, the title reigns in 2005 where, James Gibson, barely had the title for 3 or 4 weeks. This title reign, at least something came out of it, and Jerry Lynn, I think, did pretty good. And Jerry Lynn's one of the very few wrestlers of his age that I could say that still can go in the ring, and I wouldn't, mind seeing him still stay in Ring of Honor. I think he's done pretty good in Ring of Honor. And, like I say, he's one of the very few guys his age that can still go in the ring and perform great matches, as good as matches as he did 10 years ago. So, not that many wrestlers his age can still do that. So, even if you disliked him as Ring of Honor champion, you got to at least respect him. He did pretty good as Ring of Honor champion, holding the title for 2 months. And he's, solid worker. He's a very good worker. He's probably definitely one of my top favorites of all time. And like Jerry Lynn, he's definitely one of the wrestlers I would say is the most underrated wrestler of all time, because no one really says too much good things about him. I think he's a great worker. I didn't mind him being a Ring of Honor champion, so I just wanted to come on here and give my thoughts on the release of Umaga from WWE, the rumors about Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio, if they're going to be gone from WWE, or what their future is going to be for WWE. Kind of a little, look at the Monday Night Raw for tonight and see, you got 3 title matches. Hopefully Raw tonight be good, and talk about the Misawa update as far as his cause of death. And then the other thing was obviously the spoiler at the end of the video with Austin Aries becoming the new Ring of Honor champion. Definitely glad about that. And yeah, that's it. Previously, Umaga turned that down. He kind of did, I would say, the Booker T or Jeff Hardy defense, where he fails, a second wellness policy test and then is done with the company. Jeff Hardy didn't do this, but this is more or less Booker T did this. Booker T tried to do the same thing Umaga did. Claimed he quit WWE and wasn't released and didn't fail a wellness policy test. So Umaga's doing the same thing. Now, I expect Umaga to go to the TNA pretty soon after his 90-day non-compete clause is up, or I don't know if it's 90-day or it's 60 days, because I know if, hey, what up, in this video right here, I'm going to be discussing Umaga's release from WWE. I'm going to be talking about the rumors about Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy's future with WWE, a little update on the cause of death of Misawa's passing, and a few other things. And I'm going to end this video with a little spoiler, so to note when I say at the end of the video, here I'm about to say it, spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear it, cut the video off, okay? And I'm going to be talking about Monday Night Raw as well, the card coming up for Monday Night Raw, 3-hour Raw tonight, as you know. Tragedy about 2 to 3 months after the Benoit tragedy, maybe about a little over 3 months after the Benoit tragedy, where about 10 to 12 wrestlers were suspended for some certain wellness policy violation. That was his first wellness policy violation. This was the second one. So I guess when wrestlers felt, they got 3 strikes and they're done with the company, but I guess on your second strike, WWE offers you, I guess when you're out on your suspension, your 60-day suspension, you to institute yourself into rehab to get healthier. So first off, let me get on to Umaga's release from WWE. Now, there were conflicting reports at the beginning of whether Umaga quit WWE, because that's what he claimed he did, or if he was released from WWE. Now, right now, obviously, the reports that came back that what Umaga was saying or Edward Fatus said, which is his real name, claimed that he quit WWE, but obviously that turned out to be false. He did fail his second wellness policy test. This was his second one he failed. The first one he failed was back after the Benoit trial. He would have stayed with the company. It would have been 60 days. He would have had to wait for to come back as far as suspension goes. But obviously, since he's been released, it's probably 90 days. So obviously, sometime in September, expect Mr. Kennedy Umaga to come to TNA, even though there have been some reports about Mr. Kennedy saying that Mr. Kennedy might want to take some time off from wrestling, and maybe he wants, one of his hobbies is cooking, so he's trying to become a cook. So that's one rumor I've heard about that. So Kennedy might take some time off, might not come to TNA immediately, but I definitely think TNA is